introduction and the stage change in between. Before we get started, I'm going to ask this shy group that's sitting in the back row to move on up, right?
Perfect.
Because we have all these VIP seats, so I know there's a lot of people in the back end of the room. For the sake of our speakers, I think it'd be good we can interface with not empty chairs, but face-to-face. You'd agree, Secretary General. We're at a very pivotal window in this evolution of fintech. I think you'd both agree. Whereas you want to encourage the creation of the sector and the innovation, and there's been a heck of a lot of innovation for the last 5 years of this cycle, but at the same time, find the right touch for the regulatory structure. So I'd like to start, in a sense, with Austria, right? And I've been to Austria, I think, 20 times over the last 15 years.
That's great.
And I know that it has this outsized role in Central and Eastern Europe as the banking hub, as a transport hub, and you have, as a European Union member, that foot in to the really large market of over 400 million people. So even if you can, and excuse my informality with the first name basis, how do you find that right touch where you want to lead on fintech, maintain the traditional banking, and serve as that link between Eastern and Central Europe and also the European Union? What sort of thought are you giving to the regulatory touch, would you say?
I mean, for a small country like Austria, it's always important to look abroad and to stand out a little bit with the regulatory framework, and that's the same for the fintech sector. I mean, we are very happy that we already have a strong fintech sector in Austria. We have over 100 companies already in the fintech sector, blockchain, cryptocurrencies. So I think we kind of made some things right, because research and innovation is very important in Austria. So we are kind of forced to see what we can do so that international companies come to Austria, and it's the same for the fintech. So sometimes I think being a small country in the middle of Europe can be a good advantage.
Good. I think small is good, actually. It gives you that nimble nature. And if I look at a common DNA between an Austria or Rwanda or a Dubai, it's being small like a Singapore, it gives you that flexibility. Governor, you said some very interesting things about having a sandbox, for example, in Rwanda to try to embrace the growth. But let's start with that question I gave to Eva about the right level of touch, if you will. You want to regulate it. You don't want cowboys, if you will, in Rwanda, but at the same time, you want to be able to foster the sector. How did you define the central bank to welcome them as entrepreneurs into the country?
Yeah, thank you, and thanks to the organizers of this Dubai FinTech Summit for inviting us to be part of this. So as you rightly said, Rwanda is one of the countries that is promoting use of technology as a key driver to our development agenda. And when we say technology, it touches all aspects of life, fintech being part of it. And now speaking here as a regulator of the financial sector, where the fintechs play their role, we recognize the importance of providing a regulatory regime that promotes and supports innovation while protecting financial stability. So that balancing is not that easy, but that's our responsibility as the regulators to ensure that we create an environment where we support innovation, especially in the financial services, but again, maintain stability. So you talked, the main approach we've taken is main two. One is we created a regulatory sandbox, as you said. So we allow and we invite new innovators in the financial ecosystem to test their products in a live environment. And this allows them to engage with the prospective customers without really too much heavy regulation on them. We normally allow them 6 months, and if you're not successful, we give advice where to improve, and then we allow another 6 months. But because of the need to support innovation and financial inclusion as a central bank, we had to move beyond our traditional responsibility of financial stability, and in 2021 created a department responsible for financial sector development that is engaging directly with the fintech firms. In fact, they go out of the bank to, we have incubation centers around the country that is promoting fintech, and so they move and engage with them from their source. From the beginning, they explain to them what is expected as a regulator, what we expect from them. With technology firms, they always think when the technology is right, everything is right. But we talk about governance, we talk about proper planning and strategic oversight. So that's what we believe in. We believe in fintech, and as you are aware, Rwanda introduced a Kigali International Financial Center since 2020. And the main focus of this financial center is to attract fintechs. It's one of our key pillars that we are looking at to develop the financial center.
Okay, thanks very much. And I want to delve deeper into each one of those themes. I don't want to skip into looking at the region even before I ask you how fintech fits into the economic strategy of Austria itself. And I would add a twist to this. Every single year, Vienna ranks in the top 5 of cities to live, and I understand why, because it's, it gives you a huge amount of culture, it's a banking sector, it's connected, it's at the doorstep of both East and West, if you will. How does fintech fit in, and what do you do, as the governor was suggesting here, to foster more entities to set up in Austria? And do you want other international players? Are we finding they're mainly German or Austrian speakers, if you will?
Yeah, of course, and I found it very interesting that the governor talked about the sandbox, because that's also always a topic in Austria, if we should try something like that. So I think, of course, we want to attract more and strengthen the fintech sector as well. But like I mentioned before, we are quite we're quite happy how it is at the moment as well. So because of the central location of Austria, on the one hand, we have amazing fintech companies at the moment. I think what's also really important in the fintech sector is that it's really a highly innovative sector with a high percentage of startups, and startups is also a main topic for our ministry. And on the other hand, we also have more than 450 national headquarters for international companies from the Central and Eastern Europe regions. So I think that the location is good, and I think, like you also mentioned, Vienna plays an important role because, it's one of the best cities to live in, but also the regulatory framework is good. We have highly motivated workers with a high level of education in Austria. But nevertheless, of course, we can always get better and look more deeply into this. So for our ministry, for example, we are always looking where, for us, it's very important, for example, for fintech startups, that at the beginning, when they're thinking about opening a company, that they find enough funding so that they really have the time to develop their ideas and start their business in Austria.
Okay, very good. I want to ask this next question to the both of you. Strategically, Dubai sits at the crossroads of East and West as a transport, trade hub, financial services hub, and wants to utilize fintech to grow, has embraced regulation on AI, and it has the same DNA as Austria or Rwanda in that it's small. So I'm trying to find, through this question, where's the collaboration for both of you with the Dubai? Do you share information? Do you share regulations? Do you try to see companies that want to have a footprint into both? Governor, do you want to start, and then I'll have Eva jump in? I know strategically I've had President Kagame at the World Government Summit on a couple of occasions, and he's really keen on the next generation and creating companies and jobs.
Sure, thank you. I think before even engaging and sharing experiences, we look at Dubai as one good example to follow in terms of the development agenda of our country. As you rightly said, this is a small country, but that has achieved a lot in a very short period of time, in a generation, and we appreciate that, and we are learning from that. And as you rightly said, our country, straight from our president, is close to the leadership of Dubai. Share a lot in terms of the ambitions to develop our country. Again, as you said, Rwanda is a small country in the center of Africa. As we say, we are the heart of Africa, and so we always want to take advantage of where we are and who we are in terms of the connecting the continent. And so as Dubai has been a gateway to Asia, linking Asia, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East, we see Rwanda as a natural hub to link and connect the continent of Africa to the rest of the world. So for example, in terms of air transport, you can fly to any part of Africa from Rwanda within maximum 5 hours. So in most of them is within 3 hours, you are to more than 60% of Africa. So that is an advantage that we want to build on, and really learning from what was done in Dubai. Dubai being an air travel hub, we are learning that. We are building a new airport, we've built a new airline, we are strengthening it with international partners. As I said, we just established the Kigali International Financial Center, again, learning from what the Dubai Financial Center has achieved. We are partnering with the likes, we've started negotiations with the Dubai Financial Center in terms of working together. So yes, we see Dubai as a natural partner in terms of what they've gone through, their characteristics really similar to us, and what they've been able to achieve. And in terms of really being a focused leader, promoting technology, promoting young people, that's what we are doing, and we are learning a lot from what has happened here. We appreciate what has happened and what continues to happen.
Yeah, it never seems to stop.
Exactly. So
there's a new directive from the conference last week on AI, right?
Participating in this summit itself.
Great, thank you very much. Eva, your thoughts, and do you want to weave in the wider MENA region as well? So is this the center of collaboration for Austria, and how do you see this is a market, if you take the Middle East or North Africa, 300 plus million, so if you can get greater collaboration here, not just for Austria, but within the internal market, it would be great.
So first of all, I think Dubai is a key player in the fintech sector, and like Vienna is also a kind of fintech hub. I think it's only logical, or for us, we are very interested, and we are doing a lot, or we are giving a lot of thoughts and work to working together with Dubai and the UAE specifically in this sector, but overall, the UAE are an important partner for Austria. In 2021, Austria and the UAE signed a strategic partnership. So, and I think that when you look at the numbers, the trade numbers that are always rising, it shows that companies in both countries really need this kind of cooperation. Also, our minister went to Dubai last December and met his counterparts, and we also signed a memorandum of understanding on the cooperation in on on AI, sorry. So I think there you can see how important it is for Austria to work together. But as you mentioned, the MENA region, we also went to, last year to Morocco, to Saudi Arabia, to Oman, to see where we can strengthen our cooperation there. So, of course, this region is a very important one, and I think it's beneficial for both sides. It's beneficial for Austrian companies to have the contact to this region, but also for the MENA region, because Austrian companies are often like hidden champion, world leaders in, for example, green technology. So I think there you can see that this can really be beneficial for both sides.
Okay. Yeah, there's a subject that keeps on coming up here about the link between fintech and sustainability, and I haven't found out what that is. So I'm going to ask you to define it for Rwanda, because the increase with AI and fintech innovation is clearly boosting demand for data, right? So there's a double-edged sword here. It can create a sustainable model to that, but the demand for energy is rising at the same time. What do you think the role is in Rwanda for fintech to actually provide efficiencies when it comes to sustainability, Governor?
Yeah, thank you. There are big wins linked to fintech and sustainability, but I also what one would call small, but that is big in a way. For example, with fintech today, many transactions, financial transactions, are concluded in seconds, and you don't have to move from the comfort of your desk. So that level of originally you had to go line up in the banking hall. So that movement of people really running after financial transaction that has been crushed to almost zero by the fintech, that in itself is friendly to our environment.
Very interesting. I never thought about it in that context.
So today, as a central bank, we see and expect to see our printing of money going down. So the use of paper goes down, and it's not just the money, the currency notes, but also when we talk of technology, we are talking of a paperless world that has its own impact on technology. But again, as you rightly said, information is key, data is key in decision making. And with fintech, it's easy to, today we are talking of green projects. We've just developed a green taxonomy within our country that guides the banking industry on what is really green and where we should be focusing our efforts in promoting green financing. And with this technology, it's easy to have a footprint of whatever is happening that can help you to support green products and green projects. And also, with technology, it's easy to track your carbon credits, and at the end of the day, you'll be able to benefit from these carbon credits, which benefits the global community in general. As you're able to track your carbon credits, you're interested in doing that and marketing that, and therefore promoting use of innovative financial products that really focuses on sustainability. Just beginning of this year, our development bank issued the first sustainability-linked bond, and the architecture around this, if it wasn't really for technology within the financial system, wouldn't have been easy. But at least we were able to issue this sustainability-linked bond and successfully subscribed to through our capital market. And this was with support of the World Bank, of course. But we appreciate that with technology, a lot of initiatives can be built and easily understood and attract global investors within the green space.
Okay, very good. We have 10 minutes left, and I've got 3 or 4 topics I'd love to present to you. And again, this is one for the both of you, but I'll start with the Secretary General. How do you get the right talent? How do you train the right talent? You're both homes to some very high-quality universities and secondary education, but how do you try to shape the curriculums to support this talent in fintech, would you say, Eva?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, first of all, it's a big advantage of Austria that our workforce is highly educated. But on the other hand, the thing that we are experiencing at the moment, like many other European countries, is a shortage of workers. So, or shortage of skilled workers, to be more precise.
Oh, you have a shortage already.
We have already a shortage of workers in certain fields, like, for example, IT or engineering. So that's why it's a big topic for our ministry, how to tackle that shortage of workers. So there are some three parts we are really looking more closely into. The first is to see how we can rise the national potential we already have. For example, we have some initiatives in the STEAM sector, and they're especially for women because they are still underrepresented in this area. But on the other hand, and that's one thing we are somehow proud of, is our apprenticeship system. Because it's internationally very accepted. I think maybe you could call it the vocational training of the future. And what we are seeing there, that around 40% of an Austrian age cohort make an apprenticeship, one of 227, so we have a lot of job profiles there.
Are you tilting that more to IT and fintech?
We do, and we are also always looking to keep these job profiles up to date because the labor market changes, the needs of the companies changes. So that's a big topic for us, and we also are always looking into if we need new job profiles. Because we talk about AI and stuff like that. So that's where we are looking into together with the companies, with the social partners in Austria, to really see what companies need at the moment.
Totally interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Thanks. Can I ask the same thing of you, Governor?
Yeah,
One
sure.
thing that's common here, like the Austrian workforce, the Rwandans are well educated and they're eager to find new growth opportunities. So how do you harness that? I know you're a central bank governor, but you're clearly plugged into policy there. Is that something on your radar as a government to say how we fine-tuning our workforce so they can ride this wave of growth?
Yeah, maybe I'll answer that at the general level, not just focusing on the central bank. As a central bank, we have our own strategy of building capacity of our staff, and we really invested in building capacity of our staff. We just finalized a strategy to what we call the digital transformation strategy to move the central bank into a digital survey institution. And that has the requirements of what we need to do to build the capacity to our staff. Talking about Dubai, this is one of the areas that we really bring our staff to train in technology. Mainly, they have very good training centers.
Oh, so you bring your staff to Dubai for trainings?
Yeah.
Excellent. That's a deep collaboration, by the way.
Yeah, sure, we do that. And but generally speaking, as a country, yes, with the speed of development we want to achieve, and the digitization of using technology, it's true that we have skills gaps, and as a government, we have opened up the country to attract international education institutions. One of them is like the Carnegie Mellon University campuses for Africa is based in Rwanda, and really has helped us to, and focusing on technology only. But we, again, from the grassroots, the curriculum is focusing on more technical studies than just traditional university education. And so we're having a lot of our kids from secondary school going straight to technical schools, and schools like Coding Academy. We focusing really on technology again and computer science. as I talked earlier, we have incubation centers around these, around the city and around these universities that is trying to really build the capacity of these students, not just as from the theoretical part, the practical part of coming up with projects that are meaningless and can attract financiers. So, but being a country that just came from a terrible history that is still underdeveloped, part of the strategy is to open up our borders to skilled labor, so no limitations in terms of coming to work in Rwanda. Oh. So we have many of our colleagues from East Africa, from the region, that work in Rwanda to cover the gap. As we are trying to build our own capacities, at least we've really eased our labor laws to attract international capacity that can help us to achieve this ambitious growth agenda that we have as a country.
Okay, we only have 4 minutes left, so I'm going to ask you to try to, everybody to tighten your answers here for the final two questions. One is, what's extraordinary about FinTech events, and I've done many of them in different parts of the world, I was saying this to the governor even before you came in, that you have a combination of the suits like the governor, you're very elegantly dressed as a fashionable European, and then you have the chaps in the t-shirts. So you have the CEOs on the panels as a t-shirt wearing, I'm liberal thinking, I'm a renegader, I'm a destructor, but I'm a creator. How do you liaise with this community and make sure you tap that community, and do they understand you as regulators, as ministries, where you want them to come in, but it's a very different business. John, do you want to start there?
Yeah, that's an interesting question.
It's a reality, is it not? I mean, I'm not being ridiculous.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And one is to understand that what is key with them is not the t-shirts, but the brains they have and the solution they bring on the table. And as I said, for example, we as a central bank, to avoid being looked at as the traditional central banks that are too much into regulation,
the ivory tower of Kigali.
Yes, so we introduced this new department that is focused on financial development, financial sector development, and FinTech as part of it. And our teams that are working with these are the Gen Zs, as they call it, and so they are able to speak the same language with these young innovators. So it's easy for them to collaborate with our staff, and when they see them as their colleagues. They're able to speak the same language. They're able to understand each other. And so that helps to bridge the gap between the traditional regulators. And of course, we as the leaders of these institutions, we also need to be seen, to understand them, to work with them, to be freely interact. So though you're wearing a suit and he's wearing a t-shirt, but you need to also try to understand the survey way of thinking and really solution-oriented, always thinking of regulations as just unnecessary barriers, but in a simple language. You also have to explain the need of this regulation, the need of stability for whatever they are doing to be sustainable. So that's where we try to meet.
That is an excellent answer, by the way, and thanks for jumping in. Eva's much younger than the two of us, John, so I'm going to let her answer that. I'm sure she knows how to communicate with this crowd. But it is interesting because Austria, Vienna, has a huge history, right, in this culture and a structure and governance. How do you get that balance right?
I think I can somehow relate what the governor said. Maybe it's a little bit easier for me because I'm younger, but what we did is we set up a startup council with various persons from the different startup fields, and they somehow work as a translator, so because they have the contact to the community, and so that works really well. We meet with them like every 2 months, so that's a really close exchange, and that works really well.
Very interesting. Thanks for taking the question. That was one I was just thinking about as we went along here, but it's really true. Can we give a nice round of applause to our audience for participating. I'm trying to get them all to move forward for the other sessions as well. It's a perspective here from the stage, you'd agree, right? You look into a dark room, it's like, is there anybody out there? But they definitely are. Thanks for rolling with the punches. Governor, it's great to meet you.
Thank
I know
you.
they want to take a group photo before we leave.
Oh,
Again,
okay.
nice round of applause for our panel.
Thank you.